Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal, Mr. Butter, coming back at you. And I'm pretty pumped to get into this pair of kicks today. I haven't seen any hype about them. It's actually a brand that has been around for as long as I can remember. And I have never owned a pair of Pumas. My brother's favorite brand of shoes is Pumas. I know a lot of you guys tell me that Puma is one of your favorite brands. And I personally have just never really owned a pair. And this one is actually a collab, and I don't think there could be a more perfect time to review my first pair of Pumas than with this collab right here. This is a collab with a company called Butter Goods. They actually got my attention because I saw a t-shirt that just said butter on it. And it might seem narcissistic or whatever, but me being Mr. Butter, the channel being bread and butter, I've been watching their clothes, their apparel, and I really like everything that I've seen. They did a collaboration with Puma, and I love this pair of kicks. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's look at these Puma Butter Goods Slipstream lows. Okay, so I always like to start with the box, and this one grabbed my attention right away because, of course, it's got that Puma emblem. And then right below that it says butter. One side it's got this hunter green with kind of like lighter green confetti looking splatter, and on the other side it's just white, but it's got like glossy white splatter or confetti print on that side as well. I don't know if you can see that, but it's on there. And it is a flip top lid. The paper also has that Puma and butter branding, which I think is dope. Look at the tag, says Slipstream Low Butter Goods. These retailed for either $130 or $140. I got these directly from the Puma website, but I've seen them on like End Clothing, a bunch of different places. And they've got the colors labeled as Whisper White and Prism Violet. I went true to size on these, so hopefully that works out pretty well. I am very pleased with the design of these shoes. You all know that I love anything with nostalgia and anything that reminds me of like yesteryear or when I was a kid. Even though I've never owned a pair of Pumas, and so obviously I've never owned a pair of these Slipstreams, this silhouette I believe first came out in the late 80s. It was a basketball shoe. And I think from the shape and the design, even the outsole traction, I think it all has hints of that kind of retro period. And I think these originally came out in the late 80s, and then in the early 2000s, Puma brought them back and started giving different colors of them and that sort of thing, kind of just bringing the silhouette back and putting it back on the map. And I think this pair that they teamed up with Butter Goods for is just, I think this is a masterpiece. Because not only does the silhouette give you those retro basketball vibes, but the colors on these definitely have a 90s feel. The colors remind me of like Huarache, or like, you know, those jet ski Miami Vice type colors. I just think these are dope. You know, when I was a kid, I loved the Hornets when like Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning, Muggsy Bogues, when they were just stacked. But part of the reason why I love the Hornets so much too was because I love that color of like turquoise and then that nice like court purple type color. And I just think that these scream retro style, and I really, really like what Butter Goods did teaming up with Puma on these. I mean, these are just dope. And too, this leather is nice. It's nice. It's not like super soft or anything, but it's thick cuts and it's got a nice feel and a real nice appearance to it. So I think for the low $100 price range, I think these are good value for that price point. But starting with the outsole, like I mentioned before, it kind of gives you that retro basketball type feel. It's got, you know, multiple little pivot points or suction cups, and it's got them both in the forefoot and underneath of the heel. But that reminds me of like Forum 84s. And then it's kind of chunky looking, you know, like it also has like a 550 type traction, something like that. But it's got Puma there at the midfoot. It's this nice brown gum color, but it's got these speckles all through it that kind of remind me of like the Nike Grind outsole, but this is a little bit more subdued than that, a little more under the radar. But then you can see that brown, that natural tan color comes up to meet what I would call a sail colored midsole. And it looks like this is like fake stitching, like it's just like rubber, but you wouldn't know that unless you looked up close to it. But it's just a nice sail color, and it's also got this confetti type effect, and you can see all these different speckles of color going all around there. At the back it says Puma anti-shock system, and it just looks nice and clean. I like that the speckles aren't like real blatant and real like in your face and loud, because I don't think it needs that, but I think it's done just right. And then that midsole comes up to meet this upper that is basically just like a sail color. It's got some nice texture on it, but the entire upper is basically just this nice tannish or off-white sail colored leather, and it looks like all the stitching matches, but that toe box really gives you retro basketball shoe type vibes, like Air Force Ones, you name it, anything from that era. The shape of it and just the look of it, it really does give you that retro basketball feel, and I'm all about that. But then coming back the shoe, you can see that we've got like just a very small hit of purple leather here on the side panels, and that's just below all these little perforations, I guess for ventilation. It has those on the side panels, and then also just a little bit there on the toe box. Then there's also just a little purple accent here at the base of the tongue of that purple leather. To match that, we've got some butter branding, and I am all about that. These shoes are going on feet for sure. I don't know if there would even be any resale on these, but I don't care, just because I love the fact that I could rock a 90s looking shoe that says butter on the side of it. I mean, I like these. I feel like these were made just for me, you know? The tongue has your standard like retro basketball nylon feel to it, and it's more of that tan color, along with these laces. They're just that flat tan color. But I really like these little hits going up the eyelets here. It's like a plastic, but it's this nice turquoise or, you know, aqua green color going up there. But I really like that. Definitely has a retro 90s look to it. The only other place that I saw that turquoise color is for the piping going around the tongue. And I really like this tag at the top, the way that they kind of embroidered that Puma in, and it's just the two different colors. It's got a hit of like reddish orange there at the top, and that's the only place we see that color, but I just think these things scream 90s to me. And up along the collar, we've got a nice purple material, and the sock liner is all that purple material.